Let me tell you something. $1 million can buy a lot of damn Applebee's. Unfortunately, Liz Wilcox will not be getting Applebee's for life after coming up short in her quest to win Survivor 46. Then again, maybe she's so rich it doesn't really matter? Liz thought she had the game in the bag, even telling the final three of Kinsey Petty, Charlie Davis, and Ben Katzman that it was really over for you guys. I would have beat all of you. Whether that is true or not is open for debate, but Liz never got the chance to prove it after she lost a Final Four fire-making competition to Kinsey that sent the former to the jury and the latter to the final three and eventual victory. How does Liz now think she would have done had she made it to the end? Why did she vote for Charlie to win? And where did the idea come from to help Kinsey in the Final Five challenge to beat Maria Schreim-Gonzalez? We talked about all of that and more over an imaginary plate of Applebee's. Let's start with your vote. Why did you vote for Charlie to win Survivor 46? Liz Wilcox. I voted for Charlie because of his move at Final 7. Kinsey. And I really wanted to keep Venus. Kinsey and I wanted to be in the Final 3 together with Venus. And he was so not budging. And he convinced not only Kinsey but me to keep Q and betray Venus. And I thought, oh snap. Yeah, you actually did that. I really wanted Q out, and you convinced me one more vote, and I didn't even see that that was to protect you. And I got played, my darling. I got played, and so that's why I voted for Charlie. So we saw you talking a lot about how you would have wiped the floor with those other hobags had you made it to the very end. After talking to the jurors, do you still feel that way? I want to say that when I talked to the jury about this, I was still very upset. And the jury, if you couldn't tell by their 30-second timers and their no jokes, they were not very nice. That's all I'll say. And so I was really not being heard. And to this day, I haven't really been given an opportunity to explain myself too much. But yeah, I do still think I could sway some people. Would I have one? I don't know. And I'm not one to speculate, but I do believe that I had things to say. And when Maria left the game, she said, "My vote is going to the person that's going to drop a bomb on me. I want to be wowed and I want to be impressed." And I said, "Oh, honey, now you've definitely got to go to the jury because I've got some things to say to you." And I feel like the jury really respected Maria, and if she came in respecting me, they would have listened to me. So hit me with your speech to the jury. What were you going to say if you'd gotten there? Yeah, so before we hit record, Dalton said, "Liz, my favorite Survivor weirdo." I knew that I wasn't going to go in there and try to blend in. That was something I talked about in the casting process. And I knew that people tend to dismiss me. Very similar to Ben's story, I've always been the clown for the party. And I said, instead of trying to hide that or try to be something I'm not, why don't I just lean 10% more into that personality? And so I did. Instead of trying to hide my wealth, I actually exaggerated it. I'm not a millionaire or rumored billionaire. Sorry to break your hearts. I'm just a single mom. And I think even that dropping that bomb and saying, "Hey, I've been talking about my family. I've been talking about coming out of poverty. A lot of my family is still there, and actually everyone relies on me for support, and the money I've made actually isn't what you think. Give me the money." I think that would have swayed people, especially people like Maria and possibly even Q, who said in the finale after show, "Hey, Kinsey's answer about the money really helped me solidify who I was writing down." I know the jury might be saying now, nah, Liz, but we don't know. And I really think making that move of saying I was a millionaire really did disarm people. There's no way she's lying to us, when really I actually was. And the second biggest thing I think was actually the Tevin vote. And it might seem like, oh, that was a million years ago. I did that very much on purpose. It was very intentional to get rid of Tevin so early. Similar to Gabler. I make a move really quick, and then I kind of go under the radar. You forget about me. Let's get into a few other things that happened, like you helping Kinsey with that Final 5 challenge. Tell me about where that hit you to be like, I'm going to go back and get this woman's plank and start counting. Listen, I'm nothing if not a creative being. Jeff said it best, like, Liz, you're one of the most unique people to play the game. And for me, I went into that challenge knowing, oh gosh, if there's a puzzle, it's not me. I'm not a visual learner. So puzzles are actually really hard for me to see and to understand. And so I was between Maria and Kinsey. I saw them and I'm like, oh, neck and neck. Come on, Kinsey. Come on, Kinsey. And then I noticed that it was saying something about geckos, and so I started counting the geckos. If you go and rewatch, you can see that Liz isn't actually trying to solve the puzzle. I'm actually counting, and I'm whispering to Kinsey 36, 36, 36. And I'm double counting, and I'm triple counting for her. I forget what the middle piece was, but I'm counting those two, and I'm giving her the numbers, and I'm like, keep counting, keep counting. And she's like, what is it? Plank holes. And the moment that I realized I needed to go was when Jeff said in the challenge, he was like, this plank, you can do whatever you want with it. And so I was like, oh, plank holes. And so I knew Kinsey had to finish her puzzle, and so I just ran. And yeah, the mission was not for me to win, it was for Maria to lose, and I fulfilled that mission. Another point for FTC.so about the pooping? Was it just a one-time thing, or were there follow-up sessions? Okay, so that morning I sat, and I could not do the aqua dump because it was just taking me so long. I didn't want to drown. And I sat, and I sat, and I sat, and I sat, and I'm eating a little bit of rice at a time, so I don't get impacted or whatever. And I'm like, I know something's coming. It finally happened. Woohoo. I made a joke about, now I'm in the game. Again, that was another seating so I could get to the end and be like, obviously I've been in the game, just because I took a BM. Did you guys really buy that? But anyway, then I ate the Chinese food after releasing the first demon, and it was bad that whole day. It was like, oh my gosh, what happened to your shoe? I don't know. So I put my shoes in the crevice of the tree every single night where we left our wood where Venus would feed the fire all night. And I woke up and there was only one, and the one was just fine. So the only, and sorry to the cameramen and crew, the only explanation is the wood was in the way of Venus checking on the fire. And so they were immediately throwing things over a little cliff, and they threw my shoe, and we never found it. I looked and looked and looked and looked. Anything else that happened out there that did not make it to TV that you wish we had seen? I really wish they would have shown that I was purposely exaggerating my wealth. I feel like that would have been pretty epic, but what are you going to do? Finally, how much Applebee's have you eaten since you got back? Ton. Check out the rest our other Survivor 46 finale coverage including one chats with Kinsey, Charlie, Ben, and Maria, an exclusive deleted scene, group interviews with the final five and the jury as well as our full episode recap and look ahead to next season.